Hi, this is Jeanette from Happy Spots and Ink Spots, and today I'm going to show you how I created this springtime banner. I created a similar banner for my boy's birthday using Whiff of Joy stamps, and I thought at the time it would be great to create one for each season. So this is my springtime banner. I have used all Whiff of Joy's Elizabeth Bell images from different collections to create my banner. Now I'm just going to zoom in so that you can see a little bit more detail of each pennant. And now, through the magic of video editing, I will start at the beginning. Okay, so the first thing I did is I went ahead and I pulled out a whole bunch of cardstock for my banner. I wanted my banner to be quite colorful, so I picked pink and orange and green and red and blue and purple. I picked cardstock all from the same company, which is Stampin' Up. And then I went ahead and pulled out Stampin' Up pattern paper. So I pulled out a whole bunch of papers, and then I just sort of started matching the paper with the cardstock. I wanted a little bit of contrast on each one, and I also wanted to make sure that they all went well together, because the banner is going to be hung as a whole, so they need to go together. Once I'd chosen those, I went ahead and I used my Silhouette die cutting machine, and I sized a scallop pennant and a pennant with tabs, and I just sized them so that they would fit nicely together, and then I cut them all out. Now, if you don't have a Silhouette die cutting machine, you can still make pennants. I'll give you the measurements, and you wouldn't have to do a scalloped edge if you don't want to. A straight edge will be just as nice. So if you measure this from the tip to this edge, it's 7.5. And if you measure from this side to this side, it's 5.5. And then for the pennant with the tabs, you wouldn't have to put the tabs if you didn't want to. You could add strips of paper afterwards, because it might be a bit tricky to cut out. But from the tip to the edge, it's 6 3/4. And from here to here, it's just about 4 3/4. The tabs are 3/4 by 2. Okay, so you could very easily just cut those out by hand if you want. I use a Silhouette because it's just a lot faster. So once I had that all done, I took my sewing machine and just sewed them. I think it gives a nice sort of finished touch if you do that. So I sewed them all together. Then I went ahead and started choosing my images. I wanted to choose Whiff of Joy images. I love all the Elizabeth Bell images. And I went ahead and I went through a whole bunch of collections. And I just pulled out a whole bunch of stamps that I thought would work well. And these are, a lot of them are my favorite stamps from Whiff of Joy. And don't worry, I'm going to leave links to all of these on my blog post, and I'll leave a link to that on this video. So after that, I went ahead and I decided where each one was going to go, and then I colored and cut them out. Now, when I chose the images, I made sure that I had some that were facing this way and some that were facing that way. I just thought that would make the pennant look more cohesive and sort of flow better. So that's something to think about when you're choosing your images. I think it wouldn't look as nice if they were all facing one way or they were all facing opposite ways. So that was a consideration when I was choosing which image would go on which pennant. So those are all cut out and colored. I also used my Silhouette to cut out letters. And again, you don't need a Silhouette to do this. You could cut them out by hand or use stickers. And I cut them out of craft cardstock. And just to make the letters look a little bit more fancy, I went ahead and used some Versamark and some embossing powder, white embossing powder, and I used Whiff of Joy swirls, little stamps, and again I'll leave the link to that, and I just stamped them randomly over the letters and then heat embossed them. So my pennant is going to spell spring, so let's get these, oh, they're all sort of stuck together. So I have a letter for each pennant. And then I used the rest of my pattern paper, the leftover scraps that I had, and I cut a whole bunch of butterflies out. So I cut them in 3 sizes. I cut them with a large one and a medium one, and then I cut out some little ones too. And what I used for the little ones is a Martha Stewart butterfly punch. And for the bigger ones, I used a Stampin' Up die, Big's Beautiful Butterflies. But again, there's so many different punches out in the market. I'm sure you could find something that would suit if you don't have those. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I have adhered everything. I adhered the letters and the stamped images using some spray adhesive. What I do is I just lay everything face down in a box, and then I just spray the adhesive. It's just much faster. And I adhered the butterflies using a Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. It's just really a quick and easy way of doing it, and they get placed exactly where you want them, and then you can just sort of bring the wings up like that. So I'll show you each banner a little more closely. So that's the first one. And the second. The third one. Fourth one. The fifth one, and then finally the last one. So what's left for me to do now is to simply find a length of ribbon, which I'm going to lie around the back, and then I'll just fold my tabs down, and I'll just use my tiny attacher to staple it shut. So that's how I made my banner. I really hope that this inspires you to make one of your own. It's a really fun way of decorating your house, and it's something that you can keep and put up from year to year. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.